The law of the I am is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the I am is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the I am are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the I am is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the I am is clean, enduring forever. The judgment of the I am are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold. Sweeter than the honey and the honeycomb. Psalms chapter 19, verses 7 through 10. Yes. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the I am, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Psalms chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. Yes. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then shalt thou have good success. Oshay, chapter 1, verses 8. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon. You are in the law with Mr. Clay. Yes, you are in the law, and I am Mr. Clay. Yes, and we're in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, as you prepare. And we just want to say one thing. Many times you're going to see on social media, and maybe throughout your churches or mosque or whatever, the law is passed. Many are after the New Testament. Am I campaigning against the New Testament? Yes, I am. Because it's a false book. You've been set up. It's like even the Quran. They all are false books, because they take away from the whole of what God has planned for his people, even Israel, as they call it, or the children of Jacob, if we want to be more correct with that. From the book of Enoch to the book of Malachi, and whatever's in between that. Yes, even those books have been manipulated to reflect Greek ideologies. And it's up to you to know the law in order to fathom these things, in order to see these things as they are. This is where the mechanisms that Deuteronomy chapter 28 has set up. But then God has a way that you're going to have to find for yourself to get out. It's hard. Once you've been indoctrinated as a Muslim or a Christian or whatever that entails, the different denominations of those religions, even the other pagan religions, Buddhism and all these other religions. You've been born into these things. You've been indoctrinated into these things, and to think otherwise, it's a hard deal, because this is all you've known. But we're in the book of Leviticus chapter 23. We're going to try to go through as much of that chapter as we can, because it's dealing with the feast days. Many people have the feast days of the Most High really wrong. They call themselves Israelites. You must remember, you have to build the temple after the image that I've shown thee, says the one that exists, even the I am. The reason I say that the one that exists is that the one just, the spirit, that is the one like the wind, is still here. Always have been. There is, the mystery of it is just so unfathomable, you cannot explain God. But you can know and understand this one that exists. It's foolish. You are a fool if you try to explain God. You do not know him or know God in that way. God will not show God's self in that way, or the one that exists will not show the one that exists in that way. The one that exists is not male. The one that exists is not female. There's no such thing as female energy and male energy. Because how can you explain the male of the animals? The female and male of the animals, are you not the same? There's a law of attraction, yes. You're going to be attracted. You're going to copulate or marry and have children. That's going to happen for many of us. But the fact is that for that finite and humanistic way, or should I say the animalistic and humanistic way, you cannot explain the one that exists with that. Else you are an abomination. And this is what the Greeks and the Egyptians have caused many of the children of the Most High to be tempted. And even myself, yes, it took a lot for me to even get to this point. Holy, clean. You have to fight your way through the maze of the Old Testament and the lies of the New. You say, well, what are you talking about, Mr. Clay? What are you talking about? Don't glory in the education that you have and because you are able to use finite things to explain spiritual things. Don't glory in that. No. Your wisdom, your degrees, you might be strong, and people look up to the strength because they fear it, because it's what they see. You're putting your trust in the arms of man. But glory in this, says the I am, the one that exists, that you understand and know me. Didn't tell you try to figure me out. Because when you understand something, then you know it. But the failure of mankind, the failure of all of us, is to try to figure the I am or the one that exists out. How did the one that exists? These are foolish people that say this. Foolish people. It says, how can the one that exists create a man? It had to be a woman. He created male. He created male. And even with the animals, he created male and female. He didn't say how he did it with them. Are they complaining? Are they going into a... They just go by their instincts. By the way, God wants you to live. God don't want you to sit up here trying to figure out some foolish, stupid stuff. He wants you to live. Or should I say, the one that exists wants you to live within what is in you. Thou shalt not kill. Now, you know you're not supposed to kill nobody. You know you're not supposed to commit adultery. People have deceived themselves and that this thing is okay. Some cultures have done this thing because they're pagan. They're under other gods. So you read the book of Enoch, Jubilees, and Jasher, you're going to find out God has turned other nations over. Even the Jesus that you have, your Yahushai, when they try to give another name to or something, they put the shy on it or should to it to say that God begotten a son. The one that exists don't need that. The one that exists is all one, all in all. There is everything. There is no female or male in the one that exists. Nothing. The I am that I am. There's nothing in that one that exists. No. You're greatly errant. He created male and female. That's it. She has her attraction to the male, and the male has his attraction to her. Whether it be animal, human, or whatever, fowl or fish. But the perversion comes is when the male tries to be the female and the female tries to be the male. Where are you going to go but to each other, the same gender? Foolish. It is confusion, as the Greeks put it in their translation. Yes. Now, we're talking about the Septuagint. Yes, that's what we're talking about. We're in Leviticus chapter 23, and we're going to start with verse 1, with that one. And the I Am spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the I Am, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. Holy gatherings, clean gatherings. In other words, in my assumption or my understanding, the men are supposed to be separated from the women, period. Why are you going to have these men and women together when you know that there's an attraction with both of them? Why is a man going to go hugging a woman? He just felt her body. And in his mind, it could be a certain point of adultery or fornication, or should I say, whoremongering. Man, you don't hug no woman. You don't even shake hands with her. She's not a man. You just say hi. Hello, Mrs. So-and-so, or Miss, or Sister so-and-so. That's it. The women don't have to sit in the back of the balcony. They could sit on one side and the man on the other. And the observance comes from the elders. Yes, that can happen. That elder can walk up to that boy and say, stop looking at that girl, she's not yours. That's covetousness. You should not covet what is your neighbor's. The same thing. The girl looking at the boy, oh, he's so cute. You're going to see many cute boys. You're going to see many handsome men. But that's not yours. So you have to look to the point that I chose this one chose me, this is mine. The man can say, this wife I have is mine. Or wives I have is mine. The woman can say, this man I have is mine. He might have 4 wives, but the one, he belongs to her as well as the others. She understands this. But that's neither here nor there, because most people did not marry like that, even back in biblical times. It was given to so many, and it was okay with the Most High, else he would not have made laws concerning it. Now, or should I say, the one that exists wouldn't have made laws concerning man that has more than one wife. Even the wife that was of servitude because of maybe debt. Most likely it's debt. Or thievery, or crime of thievery. Otherwise, they would not be here. I'm going to put it plain. Murder, adultery, effeminacy, rape, bestiality. All of these were laws that the Most High had commanded and pushed forth, that the Levites or anyone that have seen these acts and can prove it, and there are more than one witnesses, and accuse these people of such acts. And if such accusation is there, then those persons or person would be put to death. No Jesus can change that. Not at all. Because of your mindset today, you think that that is so. Read in the book where the woman's heard her son blaspheme the Most High. And she had him put to death because she loved God more than she loved. In other words, God is everything. The one that exists was everything above her own son that came from her own body, because she came from the Most High. And that was more. See, this is what you got to see the Most High as. Someone that you have came from, someone that have caused all this to be, even your existence, above the ones that come from you. And this was Adam's fault. Because what did Adam do? He loved Eve more than he loved the one that exists, whom you call God or your whatever name you give. But in English, the one that exists, or the I am that I am, is what I'm saying. Now, he says, now you're going to come together. And even these, now he's getting ready to list, that should be a colon there. Even these are my feast. 6 days shall work be done. Think about it. 6 days shall work be done. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest. That's normal, yeah. Okay. And holy gathering. Yeah, you be with your family. And you shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath, the rest of the one that exists, or the I am, in all your dwellings. In your dwellings, your city, your home, wherever you live, is what he's saying, what the Most High is saying. Now these are the feasts of the I am, even the holy gatherings which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at evening is the I am's Passover. In other words, the month of Abib. The new moon is the first day. That evening. See, the Levites know when to tell when the new moon was so. And they would make sure the rest of the people understood it, because some people just didn't have time to figure this out. So he says 14 days after the first month at the evening is the I am's Passover. The new month. And so happy new month. Yes, happy new month to all of you. We just came to a new month. Yes, we did. Now this changes everything. 7 days after the first day, which was Tuesday, really. The new month started Monday evening and it's to Tuesday evening. Now, 7 days after that is the Sabbath. Yes, it changes from time to time. This is why you had when Nehemiah and them had to shut down everything and keep the merchants from coming. One of the reasons the merchants kept coming because they didn't know the Israelite Sabbaths, which were based on the new moon. Okay, well, enough of that. But either way, but many of you are pagans. You go by the pagan calendar on what you think the rest is. And then you try to excuse it in your own little ways. You're foolish before the Most High. You don't know. I don't care what your status is in your organizations or whatever. You may be over hundreds of thousands in your organization, but you got it wrong, period. I'm just one out of many. But the fact is, you got it wrong. Prove me wrong. But either way, I'm not going to debate with you. You just show me a scripture that proves me wrong. Now he says, now in the 14th day of the first month at the evening is the I am's Passover. And on the 15th day, the day after, the first day of the week of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread. Okay, you're going to have unleavened bread the day after the Passover, after 7 days after the new moon. That's what he's saying. He says, and unto the I am, 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. In other words, that's easy, really. Chapati, you can eat tortillas. Just don't put nothing in it just flour bread, oil, water, and flour or barley or whatever you make bread with. Doesn't matter. Except for nothing that makes it rise. That's what he's saying. And then the first day of the week you shall have an holy gathering. You shall or convocation. They try to act like it's such a holy word, these churches. They taken the things of the Old Testament and lend it onto themselves to make themselves seem more than what they are, which they are pagan, because they believe in a demigod. And that is more evil than it's like believing on Satan. Or a Satan. There's more than, Satan is a group of fallen spirits. They didn't have any other name to call these because they didn't know the names of these spirits. So they called them Satans. It's mentioned once in the book of, I believe, Jasher. It actually gets it right, but then the translators just missed it to not even change it. So, Satan's is just, it's a misnomer. They don't know the names of these spirits. So they just made it one spirit and called it Satan, which really is a lie, and there's no other spirit that's equal to the one that exists, or the I am. There's nothing. Not even what you call your bastard son called Jesus, or Yahushai, or Yahusha. He's a bastard. Either he was, or he's the sons of a watcher. And their sons, when they died, according to the book of Jubilees, they became demons. God, these are your demons that you have. You had two levels. They roam the earth as evil spirits called demons. As according to that book, yes. Now, he says, now, in the first day you shall have a holy gathering or convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. This is the feast of unleavened breads. Okay? But you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the I am 7 days. And in the 7th day is an holy gathering. Ye shall do no servile work. In other words, you're going to come together after these 7 days. Now, who's going to offer the offering made by fire? Levites. They couldn't do this thing while in captivity, even in the book of Ezra, Nehemiah, and all these other guys. They could not fulfill the Levitical priesthood while they were in captivity. So here you got Christianity, the Greeks come up, or Christianity come up with and writes in their books that we're going to have church. We're going to have a gathering of church. Well, really, they just come, and according to that narrative, they just came together just to talk about. They didn't do it. He did it according to the law after the Sabbath. So apparently, even back in those days, they celebrated the Sabbath according to that narrative. Now, which really is not true. But anyway, they try to fix it up to make it, but you have to make a movie believable. A story, whether it's fiction or true. Well, a fictitious story, you have to make it seem true so that it'd be interesting. But then the person had to figure out that this is just the story. But anyway, he says this: ye shall make an offering. He's talking to the Levites here. This book called Leviticus, okay? And the I am, verse 9, spake unto Moses, saying, look at the feast of unleavened breads, the Passover, all these have been done. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, ye shall reap the harvest thereof. Then shall ye bring a sheaf of the first fruits. The feast of first fruits is here, right here, of your harvest unto the priest. Your pastor is not the priest, Christian. Your imam is not the priest, Muslim or Islamist. No. Or whatever your leader is. No. Your religion really is after Catholicism. To put it plainly, it is. I bow my head because it's such a disgusting thing before the Most High. It really is. But it's so according to Deuteronomy chapter 28. All of these things are so. He's going to make you to forget him. God is going to make you to forget God. He's going to make you to do that. And if he draw you, it's a blessing for you to even know and understand the laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances of the Most High, to the point where the day comes when you can actually do these things. And he will cleanse the sons of, why would he make that promise of cleansing the sons of Levi if he is not going to fulfill it? He didn't give you a set example where he said 70 weeks of Daniel and one of the weeks never occurred. They tell you that was a mix up lie. The whole thing, except for the other parts that might match with other parts. See, this is why I say the Greeks have really screwed it up to try to make themselves. And just because you have the Ethiopian Coptic Bible doesn't mean that it's not wrong. As long as the book has the New Testament in it, it's wrong. To tell you the truth, I don't care. And you talk about your Jesus, whether you're talking about it in your Quran, it's still wrong. There is no Jesus or no Savior. His existence can't even be proved, period. But yet there are still sepulchres, although the graves have been robbed of, should I say, the kings of Israel. All those things, if you trace them back, and you'll find every one of them. But it's been so confused. The place where you're going to start is Teledad. That's where it's all at. See, they done confused you there. They even tried to bury it, to get rid of it. But God blew over it and revealed it. Many of us don't see, we don't know. Some of us just don't want to know, and we try to explain it away. He says this is the feast of first fruits. It's called the wave offering. In the feast of first fruits, you shall wave a sheaf before the I am, accepted, to be accepted for you. In other words, whatever your prayer is, to be accepted, you wave the sheaf. You're giving God something, not in your sin, but because you love the Most High. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. Your Levitical priest. And ye shall offer that day when ye wave the sheaf and he lamb without. Who's going to offer this? The Levitical priest going to offer this. The Levitical priest going to cleanse himself and cause himself to be acceptable before the Most High, that he might sacrifice to be accepted from you. And if it's not accepted, you're going to know. Without blemish, the first year for a burnt offering. Now see that you have a lamb, not no pork, no lamb chops. Or should I say a piece of side beef? No. See, God had blessed the people back then so that they had thousands. They had so many sheep. Sheep was like 1,000 cows was nothing. 10,000 sheep was nothing. Because God blessed it so back then. But now, today, everything is diminished. He has allowed the heathen to come in to destroy the earth, period. That's what he did. That's what the Most High, the one that exists, did. The one that exists has allowed the heathen to destroy the earth over time, eventually, and to complete the abomination that makes desolate, period. To put it in the Revelation term, yeah. They already done it. Like the guy that sacrificed the pig on the altar of the Most High. That is a sign that the Most High has forsaken you, child of Jacob. But now he gives you breadcrumbs to come back home to him, to try to understand and know the way. If your mind is not set to accept God, how in the world are you going to accept the Most High, even the one that exists, when the one that exists does come with 10,000s of the anointed, that the one that exists appointed? How are you going to do that? Now, again, he said a meat offering shall be 2/10 deal of fines mingled with oil. Meat, that's not meat like you say animal. No, it's just the way English put it. It's a grain deal, flour. An offering made by fire, sweet savor. And the drink offering shall be that of wine, a fourth part of an hin. God says, give me some wine. But you're going to burn it up, though. And you shall eat neither bread nor parched corn, nor boiled corn, nor green ears. In other words, corn that is not yet ripe. Until the self-same day that ye have brought an offering unto your God. And it shall be a statute forever throughout your generations and your dwellings. He said forever. We're going to leave it right here. Leviticus chapter 14 is where we enter in it. 15 is where we're going to begin the next law, walking in the law with Mr. Clay. It shall be a statute forever. Statute's the same thing as a law. It is. It's going to say it's a law throughout your generations. But if you're not in the land that God has given you, how can you, and the Levites are still just as filthy as you are, how are you going to do these things? I don't care how many doilies and abominable tapestries. You're not even wearing linen. Even God has the Levites, the high priest and all of them, he prescribed linen clothes, linen garments, breathable, so that the wind can blow the stank from you and that you won't sweat and all that other stuff. Linen is a very versatile garment, or should I say fabric. And it looks good too, as if you iron it. Now, he said you'll keep this throughout all your generations. But Jesus came and he got rid of the law. But yet you want tithes and offering and all this other garbage. Yeah, you want that. You want whatever can match that makes your congregate or makes you look good out of the Old Testament. Everything. Even your sadistic narrative that God's going to use pagan and Gentile men to sacrifice away from. How can you even, you can't even fathom it. Here you got a bunch of Romans killing a man before the Most High, and this is supposed to be a sacrifice? You're sillier than the man that's going to sell you 50 acres in the middle of the ocean. I was that way. But he says this is a statute forever throughout all your generations. Look those words up. Statute forever throughout all your generations. Through all that. And if we keep those things that are right, lawful, and clean before the Most High, we will have peace.